Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Tales from the Road. And before we get started, just sit right there. I'd like to tell y'all a little story about our sponsor right here. If you know, you know. This episode is sponsored by Sprague Operating Resources. Since 1870, Sprague has guided customers through more than a century and a half of energy evolution. Sprague continues that legacy today by offering fuel solutions, natural gas, electricity, solar, and materials handling to its business customers across the Northeast. Sprague is also celebrating the 25th anniversary of the introduction of ultra-low sulfur diesel to the New York City Transit Authority. This episode is generously supported by Sprague, a longtime member of the Trucking Association of New York. Sprague is committed to the transportation industry as a sponsor of both TANI and the Shay Legacy Foundation. Learn more about Sprague Energy at spragueenergy.com. SPRAGUE energy.com. Sprague, 155 years of energy expertise. Enjoy today's episode.
Pour me another cup of coffee. For it is the best in the land. I'll put a nickel in the jukebox and play the truck driving man.
Welcome everyone to the SLF podcast. My name is Alan Gaines. I'm the manager of the Shay Legacy Foundation, and today I'm very excited to welcome someone I consider a friend onto the podcast, someone whose story has profoundly impacted me professionally and personally. This man is a former NBA All-Star who went from grabbing rebounds on the court to help his teammates score second chance buckets, to helping folks, empowering them to score their own second chances in life and find sustainable careers. Jayson,
well, thank you, Alan. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
Yes. And I'd rather now have my name on side of the door than having it on my back.
Yes.
You know, so having it on your uniform was cool, but right now having it on the side of a KW or Peterbilt or, you know, a Freightliner, and better yet, on the chest of people here trying to get their CDL license and get a career here at Rebound on the Road at a nonprofit. Nobody pays anything to come to this school. Anything I ask them to do is bring their gratitude, their respect, and their energy, and we'll do the rest.
Yes, and with that being said, what do you have in store for the program participants today? I know we're about halfway through the program.
Yep, we're halfway through the program right now, so they're doing a lot of road work. They're going out on the road. We're doing a lot of parallel parking. This is a 3-month program. First 2 months, we make sure they get them to understand it, get their forklift certification, which we do here, right? We work on them with their nutritional stuff here, right? We have a nutrition come in because we need them to eat right, because we give them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We want them to eat right so they have the energy all day. But better yet, when they leave this program, they know how to eat on the road, right? When you stop at these truck stops, they got to know what to eat, what to keep the energy up, not just for their weight, but for their health, for their diabetes, their high blood pressure, for their energy, to stay alert. So we have a nutrition come in today. Gabe will be here working with them today. They'll be on the road. We'll do a lot of parallel today, a lot of offset. They're good with the straight backs, and that's what we'll be working on today. Now, when we graduate the program, they'll be ready to do everything. But right now, we're working on them to get their CDL, and then, Alan, when they finish, they still got another month in the program. So now we'll do some mock deliveries at different stores and tough locations to back into. We'll work a lot on alley docking here, work on a lot going across that George Washington Bridge, getting them in traffic, you know, so they can see the difference between really driving an automatic and really driving a manual, and really what you really want. Because look, I didn't drive automatic. I've been driving 35 years. I didn't start driving an automatic until a year ago, and I was like, I feel so soft driving automatic. This is too comfortable, you know. And then I got in some traffic on the George Washington Bridge, and I was like, I might want to try an automatic, you know? So we give them all stuff. Half our trucks are automatic, half our trucks are manual.
So tell me, why is it important to work with these folks on everything holistically? Who comes through this program when they walk into the door day one? What does the Rebound on the Road program participant look like?
Well, they go through a pretty tough interview process. And the interview process is mostly about being accountable to others, the other teamwork. Right? So if you can work well with others and you want to help grow the program and make it better for the next cohort that's coming in, and like I said before, you're going to have accountability, and you're going to be able to take lessons and structure and take orders, then you're part of this program. And being grateful is a big part of the program. You know, in the morning time, we start at 6:45. We have breakfast ready for us. We don't call them students, we call them teammates, because I'm in it with them. And when we come in, the first thing we do, we have thought of the day. Every single student comes in. Whoever has it that day, I think you witnessed it today, and they'll put a thought or quote or word on it, and they'll tell us what that means to them. And then everybody in the cohort, right, will say what that means to them. Now that does two things. That gets everybody laughing, joking, thinking, gets us working together, but it also helps me where I can see, hey, Alan is dragging today. Hey, Alan, I'll rib him a little bit. What do you need, man? You can't hang with the Owls and so with the Eagles. I'll get him pepped up to go out here because we're putting him behind, 75-foot vehicles, and we want them to be alert. And then also, if I see somebody dragging, I might say, hey, I need you to pee in this cup. I want to see what's going on here. We have a therapist here and a psychiatrist. People coming out of homelessness, people been less advantaged, people coming out of prison. We call it transitional therapy. I've been in this passion, because my passion wakes me up in the morning. For now 11 years, we help people with drugs and alcohol, and we teach through outdoor venture therapy. So in Florida, you wake up in the morning at 8 o'clock, Alan. You go right to the gym for an hour and a half, then you go to breakfast, and then from breakfast we do outdoor venture therapy. I'm also a pilot. So I take you up in the plane, and then we also have skydiving. I throw you out the plane, right? So we teach you how to get scuba dive certified. We have horses on the ranch. We have hydro boarding. You do 19 different activities you've never done in your life in 30 days. So it's an intense program, and on the weekends I used to teach people how to lay brick, because my dad was a brick mason along with a truck driver. So we laid brick in the good weather, and we drove truck when it got cold up here. So I go into prisons and I teach them a masonry program. So after a while, we've now brought that up to Nassau Community College here in Long Island, and we have this lot plus 4 more, and then the owners of the Nassau Coliseum let us use their parking lot and their loop around that so we can pick up some speed. It's just been a God blessing. I'm so grateful for my teammates to give me the opportunity to help them with their life.
Yeah, I love that. And as we walk and talk, we'll kind of tour the lot. One of the things that I really admire about you, Jayson, is your energy. It's something that you cannot help but get infected with when you walk in the room. And you've been through so much adversity in your life, and now you're paying it forward, helping everyone else understand that what they're experiencing is not inherently good or bad. It's what they do with it that defines how it is moving forward. And so for you today, when we walked in the room and the quote was on the board, it said, someone is sitting in shade today because someone planted a seed of a tree yesterday.
Right.
Tell me why it's important to share messages like that with everyone who comes through Rebound on the road.
Because it's not about them, right? But it really is about them. The best social program is a career. Give somebody a career and you give them self-esteem. When I was in prison, nobody came up to me and said, yo man, let me get your ramen noodles, let me get your sugar, let me get your coffee, let me get this. What they did say to me, they said, Jay, get me a job, get me a career. Because when they come home, right, that couch is not theirs anymore. Their kids are not here, they're here. They don't have the respect. And now they're sitting on that couch, they're laying on that couch without a job, and the family's looking at them like, you shiftless person, right? So when I come into this program, right, we say, hey man, it's not just about you, but it is really about them. It's about the other teammates here. So you're gonna show your professionalism, so when you go take your CDL test, you do well in it, so the examiners go, that's a good program. And then also, when you go in there and we do these mock interviews and we're working on your resume, and people like yourself come in and offer them jobs from different companies that you work in, you're representing everyone else. So if anybody comes in here like, oh man, I don't want to be here today, good, you don't want to be here today for yourself, but you're gonna be in here for others, right? So you're gonna pick it up.
That's it, and that's a beautiful thing. And as I sat there and I listened to each program participant, not just read the quote, but state and internalize what it meant to them personally. You asked me, and my thoughts on the situation now as we're sitting here walking and talking is, that seed that you plant is going to be drowned by the rain that it faces before it grows into the strong oak or the redwood or the pine or whatever it is. And so I recognize now that everyone who comes through this program facing those challenges in life, you really help them push forward. Not just get their CDL, but become a professional driver, become a professional human being.
Well, thank you.
You know, how did you come up with this idea, man? Where did this really spur from?
One of your favorite players, Charles Oakley from the Knicks, big part of my life, my mentor. We have a basketball camp now for 28 years. And when we have in our camp, right, so it's the most different basketball camp you ever want to be around. So my addiction center is different because it's outdoor venture therapy. We're different here because of all the different things we're working on. But this will just tell you what our school is really about. At our basketball camp, me and Oak, we load up one of these trucks with basketball hoops. We go to the worst block in any city. Last year it was West Palm Beach. We go in there where they're selling drugs, we close it down, the street, we hook up all these basketball goals, right? And we talk to the neighborhood gangs and look, man, it's the way it's gonna be, right? And then we give the police time to go in and set up their cameras and do what they want, that distraction. But we're here working with the children, and people will be like, Jay, when I first introduced this with Oak, like, we don't need just to be having stations where we teach them how to shoot, dribble, pass. You know, we need to throw some stuff in there. In the first year, we threw in etiquette, grooming, right? Etiquette, you know, how to hold the door, you know, for somebody. You know, what fork to use. You know, you know, your salad fork, your dinner fork, right? How to read the menu. And then grooming for young ladies and young men. And we have all these stations. And when we blow the whistle, 15 minutes, you think everybody wants to run over, since it's a basketball camp, to the dribbling or the defensive or the passing? No, they love what they're learning because nobody took time to tell them how to hold the door for a young lady, right? Or how to read a menu. They have no idea, and they get into it, and we have some very wealthy people come down and they teach those classes, and they are going, Jay, nobody's gonna wanna come to this class. I said, you just wait. I'm about to blow the whistle, right? I'm in there, and I'm, move, right? Every other class, the rebound, the passing, they wanna get out of there. This group never wants to move, right? How to surrender to authority. You know, when the police stop you, how to act. They're not going against you, right? They're doing their job. They want to go home just like you, right? Those are the things they want to learn, and nobody thought they wanted to pay attention, Alan, and them, and those stations. And it's the most highly popular stations that we have in the basketball camp. So it is a basketball camp, but it's disguised on life application stuff for young people. And that's what this program is. I look at it as like, of course I'm going to get you a CDL license. Of course I'm going to get you a career. But it's helping you become a better person. Right? I'm helping you help me help others.
And I feel like you really work well. First off, that was a great impression of the whistle.
I was looking for my whistle. I took it off because, you know, Steve was like, hey, take these keys off and stuff like this. So
yeah, I'm not going to try, but that was
I'm
good.
sorry about that.
That was good. Right. That was really good. You got a feature.
I got enough technical files in my life to do a good whistle.
Yeah, so and that's what I appreciate, man, is the athlete's mentality that you bring to things. You know, that not getting discouraged. You were talking about a gentleman in your program right now who's beating himself up, struggling to kind of grasp the different types of trucks he's trying to learn to become that pro, but he'll get there.
Right.
He'll get there because you put this supportive environments of building up your teammates, working together, and collaborating through this process. And so my question for you is, what could someone at a trucking company do in their own safety training, their own driver training, to bring that type of atmosphere, to bring a little flavor of Rebound on the road?
Give them ownership, right? Like out here on Thursdays, right, we all stop what we're doing at 3 o'clock. They wash the trucks. You know, even if that's not their truck, that's not the one they're using all the time. Here in the classroom, you'll never go out into this yard, into this campus, and let anybody walk across a soda bottle or a napkin and not pick it up. You make them feel part of the team, and we're all a family. And if we all do well, everybody does well. A guy used to tell me, Curtis Martin, Hall of Fame running back, said, you know what, Jason, 1,000 spiders can tie down a lion. And that's the mentality we have here. One can't beat a lion, but 1,000 of them, they can throw a web over it. You know what I'm saying? So this is the mentality we have today. So one guy yesterday came in, happens to me. You know, sometimes you got to grind your gears till you find them, grind them till you find them. My dad taught me how to drive trucks when I was 9 years old, and he used to say, Jason, I ain't putting no clutch in there. So put it in first and don't touch that clutch again, right? So, you know, we teaching me how to float the gears. Of course, you can't do that on your test, and we got a double clutch. But right here, somebody's down. Sometimes you back up a trailer, and I don't care how long you've been driving. I've been driving 35 years. I used to play Michael Jordan at night, lay bricks, and deliver D4 Caterpillar dozers. My dad had me doing that, you know, and then go play Michael Jordan at night. So when you hear and somebody's down because they's backing up and it's just not working for them that day, right? Instead of here, we all laugh together. We don't let people laugh at us, right?
Yes.
So when we said when that young man Danny came in today, who's not that young, you know, he's my age and he was feeling down yesterday, and I'm blowing this whistle at him so much, and I'm going, come on, man, let's go, you got this. And he came in this morning, and everybody's like clapped when he came in, and he came in to fight it, and the first thing he just said, hey, man, I just had a mental lapse yesterday, you know? And that's what we want him. We want the vulnerability. We get guys that come in here the first day, I know how to drive a truck. Oh, really? Right? You really know how to drive it. And even when they're in this lot, they feeling pretty good because they can do a offset and they got it down, but put them out on 95 or put them out going down Lenox Avenue and see these cars. Then they get the humility and the vulnerability of them dying to self helps us teach them well. So when you call me and you say, Jay, I need a driver, and I send them to you, that driver's our Jackie Robinson for our program. They're going up in there and they're going to get it right. But it's just not the Jackie Robinson. He opening up the doors, planting that seed for all the rest of our teammates to get jobs.
Yes.
So we make the professional person first, right? The first thing here is safety. Second thing is being a good person. And they go hand in hand. They get to school, 6:45 is when the class starts every morning. I haven't seen nobody don't get here until, you know, no later than 6:15. You know, and that's professionalism, because you never want to rush, Alan, when you driving truck. Everything wants to be slow. You know, I'm hyper right now, and I've already been to the gym, and it's 8 o'clock right now, 8:27, and I've been to the gym since 4 o'clock, because I know me. So I have to go in, and I love what I'm doing here, teaching, so I got to go to the gym to come down, right? I never have to go to the gym to go, oh, I got to come up to go to work. I got to come down. And with these people here, when they come here, you know, our teammates, we got to teach them, hey, man, be confident, right? Also be humble and be a pro, but also take it down, right? You're not going to be driving this like your car. You're not going to be rushing. You get here early so you can go through your pre-trip, make sure your truck is safe, get yourself right, check your mirrors. And these are all the things that we could preaching over and over. And then when we send people to places that you recommend to get jobs, they know what they're doing.
Amen to that, man. And like as you said, I do have to get in the gym with you. I'm gonna do my damnedest to get in at 4 a.m. tomorrow.
Well, you can't hang with the Owls and then soar with the Eagles, my man.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so I'll tell you that. I'm getting at 4 o'clock. So the other thing being, you know, early bird gets the worm. I think I text you that one time. You the bird or you the worm?
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you this, man. The only shot I have is in the weights with you, because I know we get on the court, you just start rebounding, you'll box me out, you're gonna put me in the post, and then it's over.
So where in my body, maybe because I'm wearing this like this, man, because I can do my laundry on my stomach, so where do you think that you're going to beat an NBA All-Star, one of the strongest people in the world, in the weight room now?
I mean, when you put it like that, it sounds
because
impossible.
I'm dyeing my beard?
It sounds impossible. No, I got pure willpower, Jayson. But
okay.
All jokes aside, man.
You're going to need more God than that.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, we also have Bible study here, right? So we have Bible study here, and we have Bible study in 30 minutes. And the Hall of Fame running back teaches Bible study here. We get our mind, body, and spirit here. Also, since we're joking around, you know, we can always get a workout right here, because we have an outdoor gym for them.
Well, I want to ask you this question, because I do, you know, all jokes aside, man, I really, really appreciate your competitive spirit and getting these guys placed. And tell me what working with the Shay Legacy Foundation means to you, and how you see the future from a workforce development perspective in trucking.
Look, when I went up to speak with you guys, but I met you almost out of chance, right? You were doing an event and somebody told me about the Shay Legacy, and I was like, I read up on it. You know, I don't use the computer, I don't email, I'm just learning how to text, I'm old fashioned. One of the things that our treatment center is we teach is that, you know, all these kids right now are in trouble because they don't know how to have a conversation. Everything's over a cell phone or email. They can't read body languages. Got these young kids now, 19 years old, they walk, everybody's a internet bully, right? And then they walking down the street, and me and you will know, hey man, you know, being from New York or being common sense, that guy's walking crazy, let me cross the street. They don't understand that because they can't read body language. And so many things get misconstrued with what they call memes or memes,
yeah,
you know, and exclamation points that you're losing the conversation face to face. You know what I'm saying? Even get on the telephone and have that conversation so you can see the tone of it, you know?
And so then when I came down and I got to visit ROTR, we got to talk, you know, now from when we met,
Right.
to getting some drivers placed and continuing this process, man.
It just is, and when going up and meeting your whole team up there, you know, it was just fascinating how much energy you guys had and how professional you were. And we shooting for the same cause. And I was just like, this is God sent. And this is why I know that what we're doing, we're on the right track. Because this is from God, how we are helping people who've been homeless, disadvantaged, people who can't afford to go to a CDL school, and the Shay Legacy helping us find them careers and helping us with all these things that we don't know, because I don't know everything. I might have been driving 35, 40 years, but I don't know a whole lot of business. And one thing we do here as a staff and with our teammates is we come in every day knowing we don't know everything and knowing that we don't know it, right? So we're looking at, you know, one thing we want to do every day is structure, right? The structure and the professionalism. But if you come in and you told me, hey, Jay, you need to add this to your program. All right, so we have a nutritionist here, right? We teach them how to unload and load boys so they can get other jobs, right? Flatbed, how to load a flatbed. They get, they get certified. We have union guys come in. What does a union mean? And now they're going from being homeless to maybe making $60,000, $70,000 a year. We have a financial advisor coming in.
Yes.
Right? And they help them set up their bank accounts, their checking accounts. And everybody comes in, I got to save. If I make $72,000, I want to save $35,000. Brother, if you can save $2,000 that year, you're doing well. And now you got a 401k, you have benefits. They don't understand what that means.
You've got to recognize it, and you help them really ground themselves and recognize, like, look, here's where you started. Where you came doesn't feel as far as you think it is, but if you look objectively at your picture, you have come so far. Let me throw two stats at you. Okay. So 1 in 25 New Yorkers make behind the wheel of a truck their job. $22.5 billion in wages are paid to trucking and logistics employees in New York State.
Right.
That, between the 328,000 employees, I'm not good at math, I'm not a numbers guy, but the calculator says it's about $70,000 per person, whether you're in the warehouse, you're behind the wheel of the truck, you're keeping it on the road, or you're an executive. What do those figures say to you about being in this industry?
And our treatment side, so we got Rebound on the road, where it's re-entry. We help them with our nonprofit, and our nonprofit treatment, center. Why all these young kids come there is because they're all going for the same job, sitting behind a computer screen, cold calling through emails, right? And there's no jobs left. And now with AI, right? How many jobs are left for them? But if you can work with your hands, and now people saying, oh man, we're gonna lose all our jobs to automation and these trucks that drive themselves. If that happens, if they get these lights that come on and they can count for you putting out your triangles when you break down, I'm sure they'll figure that out. But they're not gonna figure out every 150 miles, that computer's not gonna jump out there and see if that load shifted, tighten it up. It's not gonna load it properly. You know, it's not gonna do a low boy. What is it gonna do when it gets to a job site, on a construction job site, to pick up a D6 Caterpillar or wide load? So if you learn to work with your hands, right? And then you get home at the end of the day and your hands are, look at my hands, right? I've made a lot of money playing basketball. My hands are all beat up and I feel good when I get home and the grease is not coming out of my hands. And let me tell you something, that's why I was so good at basketball. And I say this with great humility, is that because I just left driving truck, laying brick, and now they want me to play basketball with my highest paid job, right? And I'm like, this is so easy. It's like playing with my sister's kids out here, right? I just got, laying, 800 bricks, and I just drove 85 miles around Newark at different stops, dropping containers or heavy equipment off. Now you want me to play against Michael Jordan? Piece of cake.
Yeah, no, I can feel the same thing too. Michael Jordan is easy for me.
Yeah, you got to tie it out something, and you can busting your hands all up, and see, all he's gonna do is come down and foul me, and I get to go get something for free, which is called free throws. I'm like, this is not a way to make a living.
Yes, but that's the thing. It's like I can see, obviously watch your highlight tape and see all the slam dunks, the alley-oops, the rebounds, all the glitz and the glamour. But really when it comes down to it, it's the work that you put in behind the scenes that allows you to get those moments. And so these folks right now who come to this program, folks who join this industry, they're going through a lot. You talk to a truck driver, you talk to someone at a trucking company, they've had a life where they've experienced something, the vast majority of them. And what we see is the success on the outside, but you don't see what they're going through on the inside.
Right.
So what would be words of wisdom for you if you were to speak to anyone who's watching this, listening to this, to keep them going on their path, whether they're trying to get into trucking or they've been in it a long time?
Well, I think you need to find a proper school, right? Make sure you can afford that school. Make sure you take your car, drive to a truck stop, right? And talk to truckers, right? And hear from them and tell them to let, you know, most old drivers are going to tell you right now, don't get into driving because of these new drivers. Right, just like the NBA. All these new guys, LeBron James is soft, this guy can't do this. You know, it's not the truth. LeBron James was not soft. He can play in any era. Old drivers right now, my thing is, and I hopefully me and you do more podcasts together, is to get these drivers that have been driving for 45 years, you know, with the cigarette and the head turn, and now you got the guys coming in with the Air Nikes on to find some middle ground where they teach them and they accepting it on both ways. Right? Because the world is changing. Not everybody's gonna come out here with overalls on, right? So I got overalls on and sneakers because my feet hurt, right? But you know, so you don't have to apparently dress with your Levi's on and your checkered shirt and your flannel to look like that. But if we can come to some point where we all can get along as drivers, the older ones teach the younger ones, and we can keep this industry, because if we all stop driving, this industry, this world comes to a stop.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Yep.
You know, I know the line goes, and I don't want to give them free press, but like America runs on Duncan. But I think the reality is that America runs off the back of the trucking industry. And without them, we wouldn't get our donuts, we wouldn't get our Christmas packages, we wouldn't get anything to celebrate the occasions that we have in life. And so I want to ask you one final question.
Yep.
What do you think the future of trucking looks like?
I think it's prosperous. I don't think there's ever going to be something that could take over that. No computer could take that over, just for the reasons I was telling you. You got to load stuff up, safety. If you're going down automation and you see 3 little kids in a stroller and then you see 3 older people here, you know, how do you really make that decision? Does a computer make that decision? You know, so what happens when they all break down? Let me tell you something, try this. Right now there's a lockout, right, between the Republicans and the Democrats. Government is shut down, right? And they're saying, what can bring them back to work? What can bring the government back to working? And they say ATC, air traffic controllers, right? Because if people can't fly and they're, you know, and they're federal employees, then people are gonna come back and get on their congressmen and their senators to open up the government again. Let a truck driver, all of us come together and say, we're not longer getting in here because you guys are taking jobs, you're not treating us well, or what have you. See what happens to America. You don't have to worry about flying as a luxury. Right? Eating is a necessity. So trucking looks great.
Amen to that, man. If you ask me, flying is something we don't ever need to do.
Right.
But I got to get over that so I can go visit some really cool places. Jayson, my brother, thank you so much for coming on.
Brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank
All
you so
love,
much.
dog. Thank you.
All love. Appreciate it. Keep on trucking, man. Keep the shiny side up. Keep
Yes,
between
sir.
the ditches.
Hey,
Thanks again for joining us for our inaugural episode of Tales from the Road, where we explore unique stories in trucking and logistics across New York State. I want to take another second to thank Sprague Operating Resources for being our first sponsor. If you would like to learn more about how, like Sprague, you can support the Shay Legacy Foundation and our mission to make an impact in the workforce of New York State's trucking and logistics industry, you can reach out to us by visiting our website, shaylegacy.org. Thank you to our sponsor, Sprague, and thank you to all who stuck around to watch the show. Until next time, take care.